welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be my Championship Week 26 score predictions. And so once again, guys, we have a full fixture list in the Championship to go ahead and predict. And coming up this weekend, we got some interesting fixtures. So as well as making your predictions in the comments down below, I'd also be interested to hear from you guys as to what do you make of all the midweek action in the Championship, as we had a pretty dramatic one, you know, in the Championship in midweek. We had a lot of mental scorelines going on, so I'd be interested to hear your guys' view of it all. So if you've not seen this series before, guys, let me quickly explain how it all goes down. So every weekend, I give you guys my Championship score predictions for what I think the results will be with each game going on in the Championship. FIFA 18 also makes their score predictions, but what I'm of course interested to know is what you guys have to say. So in the description down below, I'll leave all the fixtures that are taking place this weekend, and then you guys can easily go ahead and make your predictions. And then if you do successfully manage to get any of your score predictions correct, I will include your comment at the start of the next video. And speaking of that, actually, I will include some of your guys' comments on screen now. So if any of you did successfully manage to get any of your midweek scorelines correct, I will include your comment on screen now. And fair play to everyone who did get one correct. In midweek, I had an unbelievable round of predicting Championship fixtures. I managed to go ahead and predict 6 of the 12 games which went ahead and took place, which for me, that's unheard of. You know, the most I've got right so far has probably been 3, so to get 6 right, that's a pretty big deal for me. You know, I managed to get the Aston Villa game, the Millwall game, the Nottingham Forest game, Sheffield Utd, Bolton and Ipswich game all predicted correct, so I was pretty happy with that. So our first game to go ahead and predict sees Hull go up against Sheffield United. This is a game which is taking place tonight, guys, and two sides so far this season who have had largely very contrasting seasons, of course. Hull currently sat just above the relegation zone on goal difference at the moment, whereas Sheffield United currently find themselves 7th in the Championship, only 2 points off the playoffs. And Sheffield United recently have been quite impressed by their recent performances. They've gone ahead and got back-to-back wins, and you'd be fancying them going into this one. You know, they're clearly the favourites going into this game, and over the course of the season, with Hull fairly struggling to score goals, with how organised this Sheffield United side can be defensively especially, I think Hull are going to find it a difficult one in this game to break them down. And looking over some of Hull's defending from midweek as well with that game they had, you just feel like some of Sheffield United's forward players could have a bit of a field day if those individual mistakes are going to pop up in this game here today as well. So for this game, I'm going to go ahead and back a 2-1 away victory for Sheffield United, whereas FIFA's saying it'll be 1-0 Hull. Then our next game to go into could have a huge significance on the Championship table come the end of the season. This game sees Birmingham go up against Barnsley, two sides who at the moment definitely not in a good run of form. You know, it wasn't too long ago, it was only about 3 weeks or so ago when Birmingham looked like they turned the corner in the Championship. They had 2 or 3 decent results in a row and it looked like they may be picking up their form, but since then they've been dragged straight back down to the relegation zone. And if Barnsley actually go ahead and win this game, they'll go ahead and go above Birmingham in the table. Barnsley currently sat 23rd in the Championship, and for Barnsley's last victory you have to go all the way back to the 1st of January. Recently, Barnsley's problem is they're just not clinical enough going forward. You know, I think in midweek with that game they had against Burton Albion where they lost 2-1, they had 19 shots but only 3 of them on target, and largely that's why that's one of the reasons why they are so low in the Championship at the moment. And Birmingham in midweek had an absolute disaster, losing 5-0 to Brentford. Stockdale in that game had an absolute nightmare, and this game I just feel like it'll be a really cagey one, so I'm going to back a 1-1 draw for this game. FIFA's going to say it'll be a 0-0. Our next game then sees Burton Albion go up against Millwall. Now, Burton Albion picked up a huge result in midweek, going ahead and picking up 3 points against Barnsley. That could be massive come the end of the season, of course. It's lifted them off the bottom of the Championship, and then are level on points with Hull City, just below them on goal difference. So if they can follow that up with a good performance against Millwall, there's still a possibility for Burton to go ahead and avoid relegation this year, but you can't be looking past Millwall at the moment. Currently they're unbeaten in their last 8 games in the Championship, and the forward 2 that Millwall have got at the moment of Gregory and Morrison have been linking up so well and just causing devastation really to a lot of the teams they're playing at the moment. And so with the confidence that Millwall will be taken into this game, I'm going to go ahead and back them for the 2-0 away victory. If Burton prove me wrong, fair play to them, but FIFA's also going to say it'll be a Millwall victory. They're saying 1-0. Then we do see Leeds United they go up against Brentford. Now, Leeds have been putting in some decent performances lately, you know. There was a time they were going through in the season when the performances had really hit a slump. Since Paul Heckingbottom's come in, he's still not been able to get a victory for Leeds, but overall, the performances have been lifted, you know, especially going forward, and now they have Seiss back from suspension as well. That could be huge for them going forward this season, you know. Probably Leeds' real bad start of form started when Seiss was actually out suspended, so for him to be coming back into that side who, you know, he's undoubtedly their best player, that will be a massive thing for them going forward now. And of course, Lasogga as well at the moment in a really good goal scoring form. I've been impressed with some of the goals he's been scoring of late. Going up against Brentford though, it's not going to be an easy tie. They of course will be riding high on confidence after getting that 5-0 victory in midweek, and so I could see quite a few goals being scored in this one here today, and I'm going to back this one to finish as a 2-2 draw, whereas FIFA's saying it'll be 1-0 lead. Then we see Norwich go up against Bolton Wanderers. Norwich lately actually have been in quite a decent run of form, in fairness to them. They have been picking up quite a few draws, you know. If they were able to turn some of those draws into victories, maybe we'd see them a bit pushing towards the playoffs, but for this game going up against Bolton, not going to be an easy one. Bolton are quite tricky customers, especially to break down so far this season, and Norwich traditionally they have gone ahead and picked up quite a few 1-0 victories, and the only thing I've got with Bolton, of course, they picked up a massive victory in midweek as well against Sunderland at the bottom of the table. But with Bolton playing away from home, now that they don't have that option of Gary Medine, I feel like they lack that focal point really, you know. Bolton aren't going to be the sort of side who's going to go to a place like Norwich and try to out-football them. They are a side which in my opinion requires a target man, and now they've lost that in Medine, their away form will suffer slightly. So for this game, I'm going to back Norwich to go ahead and grab the slim 1-0 home victory, whereas FIFA's saying it will also be 1-0. Then we have my club Preston North End, who are going up against Ipswich Town. A fixture that I'm quite looking forward to actually, as Preston lately have been in a really good run of form and have definitely still got a chance of the playoffs come the end of the season. Now, Preston currently off form. We've only gone ahead and lost one game in our last 17 in the Championship, which when you look at, you know, some of the teams in the Championship, that's an incredible return, you know. The only doubt I have with Preston at the moment is we are drawing too many games, you know. Our last two games we're going to head and drawn against both Wolves and Aston Villa, and on the surface of things they're two very good results drawn against those teams, but they'll only be good results in my opinion if we back that up with a victory over Ipswich here today, you know. And it's not going to be an easy side, you know. So far this season Preston haven't really struggled going up against the top six. It's been the sides who tend to sit quite deep and look to grab a goal on the counter-attack, which Preston struggle to break down, so I don't see all too many goals being scored in this one, especially with the pressure that Mick McCarthy's under at the moment from the Ipswich fans. You know, Ipswich aren't going to be a side who's going to rock up and just throw wave after wave people forward. That's just not going to happen for them. So for this game, I'm going to go ahead and back my club for a slim 1-0 home victory, whereas FIFA's backing a 1-1 draw. And this game then sees QPR go up against Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest at the moment are just a side which I can't really work out, you know, since I'd be very actually interested to hear from some Nottingham Forest fans as to what have you made of everything so far since Aita Karanka has come in. You know, the Forest fans were sort of given a false expectation really when they went ahead and beat Wolves, because since then the performances really haven't been great. You know, the performance in midweek against Reading, the first half I thought Forest looked quite dreadful really, but the second half they managed to turn that around. Lee Tomlin I think could be an important player for them for the rest of the season, but going up against QPR, not an easy place to go to. Loftus Road so far this season, they boast a very good home record actually, and QPR at the moment seem to be in that run of form where they'll win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game, and of course with them losing their last game in midweek, I'd fancy them to bounce back in this one, to be completely honest. And with that midfield three and Matt Smith of course going to be an option for them going forward in this one, I'm going to fancy QPR for the 2-1 home victory in this game here today, whereas FIFA's saying it'll be a 0-0 draw. Then we see Reading go up against Derby County, and to me it still baffles me as to how bad Reading have been so far this season. They currently find themselves 18th in the Championship, and just when you consider that they made the playoff final this year, it is just absolutely mad that they've had such a drastic fall off since then. And of course Yapstan's still got a lot of Reading fans to go ahead and win over, and it's not going to be an easy game going up against this Derby County side. The only criticism I can have of Derby recently is they're of course a side who's going to be wanting to push towards the top two, and at the moment they're just drawing way too many games for that, and they need to be, in games like this especially, away games against a side like Reading, they need to be getting 3 points in this sort of game, and there can be no excuses for that really. So for this one I don't think it'll be be a walk in the park for Derby. You know, with the way that Reading like to play, they like to hold the ball, keep possession a lot and frustrate teams, but I do fancy them to go ahead with that attacking quality they've got and just get over the line with a 2-1 victory, whereas FIFA's saying it'll be 1-0 Derby. Then we've got Sheffield Wednesday, who go up against Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa, once again, quite an interesting side at the top of the Championship, battling it out for that second automatic promotion place at the moment. Now, lately, their last two performances have actually been really underwhelming, and of course, that's no surprise as they have been without both Jack Grealish and Albert Adoma, and in going into this game as well, they're likely to be without them again. I watched them in midweek against my club, Preston, and I thought they got very lucky actually to go ahead and get a point from that game. It was a penalty which did get that in the end, which was quite a cheap one in my opinion, but we'll brush over that nevertheless. And defensively as well, Sam Johnson's been looking a bit shaky in recent weeks, which he wasn't looking like too many weeks ago, and so with Villa, they need to find a way of playing without that Grealish and Adoma link-up play, because at the moment it's just a bit flat going forward really, you know. They felt that in the last two games they've not really created many chances, and going up against Sheffield Wednesday, who have been a bit of an awkward customer for some top sides so far this season, I can't see too many goals being scored in this one. It would surprise me, but I'm just going to go ahead and back Villa for the slim 1-0 away victory. Sheffield Wednesday, I'm not sure where their mentalities are at this point in time, but FIFA's going to back this one to finish as a 0-0 draw. Then next game, we've got a bit of a local encounter going on for this one. We've got Sunderland, who go up against Middlesbrough. Now, currently Sunderland find themselves at the bottom of the Championship. In midweek, they missed a massive opportunity against Bolton Wanderers, of course. They went ahead and lost that game by 1-0, and I can't lie, out of all the teams currently battling it out at the bottom of the Championship, I would be surprised if Sunderland now managed to turn this around and survive this season, but who knows, anything can happen in the Championship. Middlesbrough, on the other hand, at the moment under a pretty good run of form actually, under Tony Pulis, of course. They went ahead and picked up a victory in midweek, and they're not going to make it easy for this Sunderland side by any stretch of the imagination, and honestly, Middlesbrough still managed to maintain that record of when they've gone in front against the side, they've never thrown that away, so they don't tend to lose from winning positions, and that'll bode well for them in this game. Sunderland going forward at the moment, I just don't see them offering too much in this game against this Borough defence, so for this game, I'm going to go ahead and back a 3-0 away victory for Middlesbrough, whereas FIFA's saying it'll be 1-0 Borough. Then as the evening kick-off on Saturday, that sees Fulham go up against Wolves, and I'm actually really excited to go ahead and see the outcome of this game really. Wolves going into this one will be without Ruben Neves, which could have a pretty huge significance actually, of course. He's going ahead and picked up a suspension after picking up too many yellow cards this season, and when you look at how Fulham like to play, I really do think that they could cause this Wolves side some problems, you know. Going forward lately, I don't think Wolves have been at their sparkling best, you know. Jota's form especially seems to have dropped down a little bit from the level he was playing at earlier on in this season, and some of the defensive mistakes as well, I wouldn't really say they're defensive mistakes. John Ruddy lately hasn't been doing himself any favours for Wolves, that's definitely for sure, you know. He was a bit dubious for the goal that we scored against them when Preston played them at Deepdale, and on Wednesday night as well, I'm not sure what he was doing with that Oliveira shot, so it'll be interesting to see if Nuno actually goes ahead and sticks with him for this game. But honestly, I think that if Fulham go into this playing quite fearless and just go ahead and attack Wolves, I think they can go ahead and do this actually, so it's going to be the first time in ages, but I'm going to go ahead and predict Wolves to lose this one. I'm going to go ahead and back Fulham for that 2-1 home victory, and like I said, it'll be interesting to see how Wolves adapt to play without Neves, but once again, I'll say 2-1 Fulham. FIFA's going to back 2-0 Wolves. That last game to go ahead and predict, we've got a bit of a derby going on Sunday. We've got Cardiff going up against Bristol City. Now, once again, this game could have a huge significance as there's quite a few teams below Bristol City at the moment who are chasing that 6th spot in the playoffs. You know, I'd probably say there's 3 or 4 teams below them who are still in with a shout of going ahead and sneaking into the playoffs come the end of the season. So Bristol City definitely need to keep their form up, you know. They're without a win now, I believe, in their last 4 games, albeit 3 of them have been draws, but overall their performances haven't been brilliant lately. Bristol City defensively looking quite suspect as well, and Cardiff at the moment, if there was one word that I could describe Cardiff and the way they're playing at the moment, it would be efficient. You know, it's not been brilliant to watch all the time, but they're grinding out the results, and if Fulham go ahead and beat Wolves this weekend and Cardiff win this game, Wolves' lead at the top of the Championship will be cut down to 6 points. So I'm not saying Wolves are going to be caught this season, but we may have a bit more drama going towards the end of the season if that was to be the case. And so this game here today, I'm going to go ahead and back Cardiff for another efficient 2-1 home victory in this one. And FIFA's going to say it'll be 1-0 Bristol City. So guys, there you have it. There on my Championship Week 26 score prediction. So as always guys, I'm very interested to get your opinions in the comments down below. So make sure you do leave your predictions in the comments down below for a chance to be featured in the next video. But apart from that guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you have enjoyed, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you do subscribe for a bit of regular Championship content. But apart from that guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.